Good morning, Las Vegas. I wanted to stop by and wish you a happy 10-year anniversary. Man, it seems like it wasn't long ago at all that I went back and forth from California to Vegas, California to Vegas, California to Vegas. I mean, once and twice a week looking for buildings because God had told me to start a church in Las Vegas. Most of you know that I didn't want to come to Las Vegas. I had told the Lord that if I ever started a church anywhere, it'd be somewhere where there were pine trees and streams and mountains. And then of course God told my wife, not me, because I wasn't open, that we were to start a church in Las Vegas. I said, no way, no way. I fought it all the way. But then finally one day God confirmed it to me. We were to start a church in Las Vegas. Well, I went back and forth 1 and 2 times a week forever and ever, it seems like. I traveled that road for, been traveling for 10 years now. One day I tried to do the math to see how long of time I'd spent in my car traveling, and it came up to months. I don't know, 2 or 3 months. I don't know what it was of time staying in my car. But anyways, I look at your beautiful faces and see your friendly smiles. I know it's all worth it. And you guys are worth it, believe me. As I look back over those time periods, I remember we first started in a Seventh-day Adventist church. We rented a church building, and it was dark and dreary. And I think we grew to about 7 people in that church building, but the worship was horrible. I mean, those people, they sang so much off key. I mean, the worship was the most depressing time of the service. Of course, my preaching probably wasn't much better, but whatever. And then we went and moved to a civic building, some civic center or something over in town center or somewhere in that vicinity. And I remember we grew to about 30, 35 people there, but still the worship was horrible. We had 2 opera wannabes, singers in our church, and one was sitting on one side of the church, one on the other, and it seemed like they were in competition trying to out-sing one another. And it just destroyed the worship. And I thought, are we ever going to get this worship thing right? Well, we finally did. You've got it right now. And then I remember one time I had a men's Bible study at Starbucks, and I had 5 or 6 really good men coming. And one of the first studies one day I went out and told them, I said, here's how it is to walk with God. You just give God your day and say, God, open doors for ministry. And when you pray open doors for ministry and you go out in faith, the ministry will just be there. And I mean, it was almost like this was all set up and pre-planned. When I said the ministry will just be there, immediately I heard a car on Sahara go, stop, door slammed, a lady jumped out, the guy threw her purse out right there in front of us. And I said, like that. And immediately I ran, the guy peeled out, left the woman there. She's on the curb crying, and I jumped the hedge and I went over and started ministering, and these guys go, right when he said like that, that happened. And they were just beside themselves going, it's that easy? Well, obviously it's not, but thank God I had a sense of humor. I go over there and I start ministering to this lady. She's crying, so my husband's mean, he's a maniac. In the meantime, the husband flipped around and Sahara and came back in the driveway, and he pointed at her and he goes, here. So I looked at her, I looked at him, so I went over and I said, you mean you want me here? He said, no, not you. I said, well, you do need me. And I told him about the Lord and how he needed to get a grip on his life, and had he ever had a relationship with God? And he said, yes, he had. And I said, well, you need to come back. Make a long story short, I got her and him together right there in front of my Bible study group, led them back to the Lord, and they started coming to our church. These guys were like, it's that easy, it's that real and simple. And of course, obviously it's not, but God kind of really set that up for me that day, and that was kind of funny. And then we've had a lot of things happen. We had, we moved to the Durango building, and we had 4th of July parties, and we brought in doughboy swim pools and baptized people, and had a lot of the people from the Strip coming in and getting saved, and it was just a great time. I mean, really, I have great memories. We did a wedding one day for some Vegas Strip people that worked on the Strip. They were entertainers. I'll never forget that wedding as long as I live. It was like a Broadway hit show. The guy came down the aisle in a tuxedo and a cane. His name was Bill, and he came down with that old rock and roll song about Bill. I love you, Bill. And he danced all the way down the aisle, grabbed people out of the seats, danced with them. The bride got out and performed during the middle, and the whole party, the bride's party and the groom's party, at a certain point, they broke out in song and started dancing with all the moves. I was flabbergasted. This is a real Vegas wedding. Went on for an hour and a half. So I got a lot of fond memories. But most of all, I just want to stop by today to tell you how proud I am of you. And I hope you have a big, big party today. And so again, happy anniversary, Las Vegas. And I'll see you, if everything works out, the end of next month. God bless.